Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Well, happy Sunday morning. Back on Friday, I had vowed to myself, and I told you guys that I would try to take it easy this weekend and go to my favorite restaurant, go to a few events and all that. But I completely underestimated how much sleep debt I had accumulated this past week with all the drama of back to school week. I teach at Phoenix College, Grand Canyon University, and a bunch of tutoring clients, and also my art projects. We've got an art show coming up on September 16th. And so I've been, yesterday as I was doing this, I hallucinated actually. I had thought about a past video game that I used to love, and you would, when you would get up to 100 coins, you would gain a life. And I hallucinated and thought I had to get up to 1,000 of these zinc Buddhas. I have about 600 or so of them right now, and yesterday I kept thinking I got to get up to 1,000 so I can gain some years in my life, and I hallucinated. And I also thought about the time I was at my grandfather's house. He had since passed away, obviously, and I was very ill, and I ended up pooping my pants, and I don't know why I even thought about that. I was like 4 years old at the time, and I hallucinated about a number of other things. I thought about a potential future wife, and in another hallucinating episode, I thought about she and I having half of the zinc in the world. I had failed at cornering the market. We had since failed at cornering the market in bismuth, and we were doing zinc now because I was pouring the zinc Buddhas, obviously. And then when I went to sleep, I slept like 15 hours in a row and completely missed everything that I wanted to do. So, unfortunately, a very fast-paced week will also cause your weekend to go fast-paced because you'll sleep through most of it, right? I completely underestimated that. So, hopefully, let's do some fortune-telling about this next week. I'm gonna use my Pac-Man deck this time. Let's see. Get the cards out of it. Come on. Let's use all the pack cards. I still can't believe I hallucinated and thought I was already rich off of zinc, and I needed to pour 1,000 of them to gain a few extra years in my life. Hopefully by the time we get to the art show, I'll have 1,000. I can't wait to display 1,000 of them at the art show. I just want to make sure you know that I'm not cheating, because I've gotten some very impressive results doing fortune telling as of late. Now, one tough lesson that I learned during this burnout season is that, how should I express this? See, years ago when I was working in Seattle, Washington, a lot of times my colleagues would take advantage of me, right? A lot of them had children, a lot of them had family life, and they would often ask me to fill in at these odd hours. And I would fill in at those odd hours, burn myself out, and then oftentimes I would make mistakes, right? not intentionally, not sabotage, but things like I would yawn during the class time and look unprofessional, or I would accidentally forget something, get to my office and realize I didn't have my material and then be late for class. And even though I was filling in for my colleagues for their childcare issues, their home repair issues, for all that, I ended up being the one written up for the mistakes that resulted from that burnout, right? So I learned I have to know my limits, right? Because at the end of the day, even though I'm the one helping out, I take all the blame as well, right? You take the risk with the reward, right? Well, 3 is a lucky number because it's all about one person who is single being accepted by a couple. 3 is associated with my Single Lives Matter movement. 6 is a very lucky number because I did really well when I was 6 feet away from everybody else back in 2020. 2, 7. 5 means to procrastinate because when I was a kid, I had a difficult time waking up, getting going in the morning. I would ask my mom for 5 more minutes so she would come wake me up. One time when my family and I had just arrived in Taiwan, I was exhausted, and my grandfather had just passed away, and my brother wanted me to go somewhere to meet with the rest of our family, and I thought 5 minutes just wasn't going to cut it that time, and I asked for 10 minutes, so 10 could also mean to progress. Another 3, 6, those are very lucky numbers. 2, 7, 5, death! But how many cards did we go? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But, like I said, I learned the hard way that you can go above and beyond, take all this reward, but when disaster comes, you still take the blame for it. I was working at Washington Technology University during the pandemic. They have since closed. And all the times I went above and beyond have completely evaporated with them going bankrupt, obviously. And during the time I was there, I got written up a few times over things that probably I wouldn't say resulted from, but at least contributed by my going above and beyond, and it ran out of steam, right? I would forget things, or run late, or sleep in after filling in for somebody, and I learned the hard way that you take the risk with the reward, right? And oftentimes I didn't even get most of the reward because people didn't beat at the same wavelength as I did, or they were taking care of kids. I had a colleague who had a home repair emergency, and she woke me up at 10 o'clock in the morning. I was teaching a night class, so 10 was pretty early, and I'm thinking at the time I was actually living out of my car when she had that home repair emergency, and I filled in for her without much of a thought. It was only after, I think her class went from, she woke me up at 10. Her class ran from 11 o'clock to like 2 o'clock. And I had another class in the evening. So that's actually not a very convenient time for me. And so after I finished the class at 2 o'clock, I thought to myself, did I understand what I just did? I had a colleague who owns a $3 million house here in Bellevue, Washington. And she might have a repair that costs maybe a few $1,000s. And I'm living out of my car that might be worth less than what she pays for that repair, and she's asking me to fill in for her. Did I just hear that right? And that was pretty insulting when I thought about it. But I really love all of my students, so I'll do it. But it was just kind of insulting. This is the Peter Dislike Show, the Peter Burnout Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Burnout Show. Bum 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 bum.